Greetings, folks. The Great Scott here. Welcome to today's virtual volunteer segment, and as you can see from the screen, we have not one virtual volunteer, but two. It is my pleasure today to have exactly half of the Skies here on my show. The Skies are a very unique group. They are a Celtic gospel band who come from Prince Edward Islands in Canada, and today we have the two youngest members, I believe, of the group, brothers Joel and Gabe. Joel and Gabe Sky. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Thank you for joining us
on your show.
Well, we appreciate that. I appreciate that. I said we. There's only me here. Now, just to give you a little bit of history just real quickly, there used to be a convention in Boston called Congress, which was basically a whole bunch of Christian organizations that got together in the Heinz Convention Center. Now, for anybody watching this who was born after the epidemic broke, a convention center is a big building that people used to get together in when crowds were still allowed to gather. I know it's only been 3 weeks, but it feels like it's been a long time. I'm sorry. Anyway, and the very last time they had Congress, I was there with my magician mentor, Bill Bueller, who is now home with the Lord, and I saw this family playing fiddles in their booth, and I could tell right away that they were a family because one of the kids looked almost exactly like his dad. That would be you, Joel. I can remember. Funny thing is, I can remember saying to myself, "Okay, if those two are not related, then I'm Donald Trump." At the time, he was just a rich guy. I used to use him as the comparison because he was somebody who I never thought I would be. I never thought he would be president when I used to use that expression. But anyway, so yeah, it is hilarious. I know. So, anyways, for those of you who are wondering, which one of you is Gabe? Please raise your hand. That's Gabe. And the other one, Joel, please raise your hand. That's Joel. And you guys do Irish fiddle, and you also do Irish step dancing, and not many people combine that with gospel music. So you guys are tremendously unique. You ended up actually doing a lot of shows in the Massachusetts area after I met you at Congress. And I'll never forget the first one that I had attended other concerts of people that I had met in the past, and I kind of had to remind them of who I was. But I walked into the Uxbridge Church with my hat on that says The Great Scott. Your eyes all lit up, and your dad ran right up and hugged me. It was I had never experienced anything like that before, and it was a great experience. And
well, you made a tremendous impression on us at Congress.
Well, yeah, I walked right up to your booth and I stuck a pen up my nose. That's a trick I might not be able to do anymore after this. I can tell you that right now. Because I have a feeling that even once we're allowed to stop social distancing, people are going to be a lot more sanitary and not want to touch stuff. So.
Yeah, I'm afraid that there will be long-term oddities that come out.
Yeah, I think there are some things that are going to spill over from this. Kind of like how there's some security measures that are still in place because of 9/11. So it's just kind of the same thing. It's just going to there are some things that I think, and not all of them are bad, to be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with being more hygienic. Anyway, having said all of that
I hope sticks.
Yeah.
A habit that sticks is men washing their hands when they leave the public restrooms.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yes.
hoping that one sticks.
Oh yes, absolutely. All right. Well, what we're going to do here now is I'm going to jump right into today's effect. Now, this is an effect. This is a math problem effect, which is one of the reasons why I asked Gabe and Joel to have something to write with. Do you guys remember your paper and your pens and everything? All right, cool. All right, now, you might notice that I have my wallet here on my table, and there's a reason for this. Because inside of this wallet, I'm going to take out my credit card. Now, I'm not going to show you guys the credit card, but this credit card is very important to this trick. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but you will be able to see it after the video is over. The credit card is going to go right down here on this table until the trick is over, and you will see why that is important when the time comes. Now, I also have some Uno cards here. These Uno cards are going to help instruct what Gabe and Joel are going to do for this particular effect. All right. Gabe, Joel, oh, and here's the best part. Anybody watching this can do this as well and see if it works for them. This is one of the few tricks I can do where you don't just have to watch me with my virtual volunteers, but you can do it while you're watching this video. Gabe, Joel, and everybody watching, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your writing implement, please, and write a number on your first piece of paper. Write a number on your first piece of paper. Now leave space because you're going to be doing a math problem, okay? And since you are going to be doing a math problem, I highly recommend doing a number between 1 and 10, okay? Because otherwise, the math gets very hard as you go on if you do too big of a number. I had somebody who chose a 3-digit number once and the trick didn't work, so I highly recommend doing a smaller number. Now, have you both written down a number? Okay.
Yes.
Now, just to make this a little bit more interesting, because there's only 2 people here, okay, I want you guys, this is the only time you're going to compare notes in the entire trick. Don't show the numbers to me, but make sure you each chose a different number, please. Make sure that you look at each other's and make sure you each chose a different number.
Yeah.
You each chose a different number. Now, before we go any further, I believe in giving credit where credit is due. The effect you're about to see is an effect a lot of magicians have done. In fact, Canadian magician Sean Farquhar, these guys are actually up in Canada, there's a champion magician by the name of Sean Farquhar from Canada who actually once asked who came up with this effect. Well, I don't know who came up with the effect, but the variation I'm doing today was created by a magician named Mark Genest. And the very first person I ever saw do a variation of this effect was magician Max Maven, or mentalist Max Maven, on NBC's World's Greatest Magic. So credit where credit is due, that's the effect we are doing today. Okay, so you each have a number on your paper, and all of you have a number at home who are doing this, correct? All right. We bring up the first Uno card. This is what you're going to do to the number on your paper. You are going to times it by 2. You are going to do times 2. You are going to double the number on your paper. Now, Gabe, Joel, from this point on, don't compare notes. I only wanted you to make sure that you guys had different numbers, okay? So do you all now have the result of doubling your number on your paper?
Yes.
Okay, all right. You're going to take that number. So you all now have a second number, right? Okay, you have a second secret number, okay. Take that second number, and here's what I want you to do to that number. I want you to add 8. Add 8 to that number. Okay? Let me know once you both have that result.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Take that result. Are you following me, or is this too complicated?
No, we got it.
This is
Okay.
great.
Take that result and do this. Divide by 2. Divide it in half. Okay? Have you all done that?
Yep.
You're now going to take that number and subtract from it whatever the original number was you wrote down. Subtract from that the original number that you wrote down. Okay, have you got that result?
Yes.
Okay, now, Gabe, Joel, and everybody out there, once again, I do not want you to compare notes, and I don't want you to tell me what the result of the math problem was, but please answer this question truthfully, yes or no. Is the number you have on your paper in between 1 and 26?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, which means you both have a number that corresponds with a letter of the alphabet. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is... You all understand, right? Okay. Write down the letter of the alphabet your number corresponds with, please.
Okay.
Okay, now, this is where I told you to both bring more than one piece of paper, so you're going to want to either turn your paper over or go to your second one at this point. Okay? What I want you to write on the second piece of paper is the first country that comes to mind that begins with that letter.
I can't spell it.
If you pick the same one as me, I will laugh.
Okay?
I'll bet you pick the same one as me. I'll just bet.
Okay? Now, I want you to look at the way that that country is spelled and take the second letter in that country.
Oh, man.
Take the second letter in that country, and I want you to write down an animal that begins with that letter.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, hold it.
Hope you spelled your country right.
I sure hope I spelled
I
my
am certain
country right
if
too.
it's not the same one. I know we did.
Based
I
on the
just
way
don't
you're
know.
reacting, I now have my doubts as to whether or not this is going to work, to be honest with you. All right. So on that piece of paper, you should have a name of a country and the name of an animal. Is that right? Okay.
Correct.
All right. Do you remember how I had this credit card on the table the entire time?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this credit card here, if you look at it, is from the Bank of Denmark and has a gray elephant on it.
Okay.
And based on your reactions, this trick didn't work, unfortunately.
Well, the thing is that it's because we're more eclectic in nature.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the nation I picked was Djibouti, which the second letter
Djibouti?
is J.
I'm I'm sorry.
which is Djibouti.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. Okay, hold on here just for a second.
No.
You guys just may have guaranteed that we don't use this segment. I'm not sure here. But anyway, what was the result of your math problems?
Well, my math problem was the same as Joel because I was keeping it in my head what his number was, so that's why I knew what he had.
So you were cheating in other words.
The result, I wasn't cheating, but I was thinking. Anyway, the math problem was it came out as a D, which is number 4.
Yes.
My math problem came out as the letter D.
Okay, all right. Most people, I think we actually kind of just blew. Most of the time, the country that most people wind up thinking of is Denmark. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
But trouble is that my principal's favorite country to say
was Djibouti.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna go here up to the camera and say if you got a gray elephant in Denmark, then congratulations. Okay. Well, I want to congratulate. Well, you know what? I think I am going to use this because after all, I guess this is a lesson. Don't use people who live in Canada for this trick. I'm not sure, but anyway, this is definitely one for the books. I think. Hey, I've posted plenty of magic tricks on here that worked. It might be a little interesting to post one that doesn't. You never know. Anyway.
Well, Denmark would be a very common country if you didn't happen to know.
If your principal's favorite country didn't happen to be Djibouti.
And so we both had the same principal.
Uh-huh.
Yes, indeed. Oh, by the way, one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show is that I wanted to congratulate. At one point I wanted to congratulate you guys on being the very first people on my show that was not by themselves, and then I realized I couldn't do that because my best friend Ben had his daughter with him when we did our first show. And then I said, you know what, I could maybe congratulate them on being the first 2 brothers who did this. And I'm like, no, Sean Justice and his brother Kyle Justice both did this, so I can't do that either. But you guys are the very first people to do this, not only who were not in this country, but you are also the very first volunteers who the trick didn't work. So congratulations on both those things.
However, you weren't wrong in it being a D.
Okay.
It was a D.
That's impressive.
Well, thanks. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people who watch this video who are going to... I may have just inadvertently blown the lid off this trick. I'm not sure if there are some magicians that are going to give me flack for this or what. But hey, what can you do? Anyway, at this time, I wanted to give the Sky Boys here Sky Boys. That makes you sound like you fly airplanes or something right there. But
I used to fly.
You used to fly. Okay, so the group is made up. The group that you guys are in, it's made up of the 2 of you and your brother Seth and your father Tom. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So you want to tell a little bit about, like for example, how did you guys get started doing what you do?
Oh man, that's kind of hilarious. We were a jazz band previously, and really
it's kind of a long story.
It's kind of long.
Yeah. If you want to put it both parts, it's kind of a long story.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit convoluted. We were a jazz band, and while we were a jazz band working together as a family, we all started having our walk with the Lord get really serious. We were going through some pretty tough times, and it made us all really cry out to the Lord. So we were all getting serious about God at the same time, even though we were all different ages. And we were playing jazz music, and then we went and we saw this crazy fiddle band from Prince Edward Island, where we're from. And my dad thought, wow, that'd be a great way to share the gospel. And the rest of us were thinking, wow, that was a fun concert. Wow, that was a fun concert. So he was like 10 steps ahead of us. Anyway, the end result is that we changed genres. We went from jazz to Celtic, and ever since then, we've been kind of a fusion of Celtic and jazz and maybe a little rocky at some times too. So we're kind of a fusion band, but
just to put this into perspective, not to put you on the spot here or anything, but one thing that I know is that when this started, you guys, your brother Seth and Miriam, it was the 4 of you and your dad, and it was just you guys, and all 4 of you kids are now married, and you all have children. So that gives an idea as to how long it's been going on. I mean, like how old were both of you when the group started?
I started step dancing at 17.
I'm thinking, and I would have started at 21.
So our first concerts happened in the spring of 2004.
Oh.
So we've been doing this for like 16 years.
Yeah, I won't ask you guys how old you are now. Now, you also had one other thing that I find interesting is that all 4 of you kids met your spouses through your ministry, the Fellowship of the Unashamed that you do, right? And as if that weren't interesting enough, what I find even more interesting is that because Joel, because of the girls that you and your brother Seth married, your brother is also your brother-in-law now. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
yes.
your wives are sisters. It's interesting how those things happen. You know what? Just because we still have the camera on here.
I know. It's pretty cool.
What'd you say? What?
I said it's really cool.
It is, yeah. I just realized that this credit card that I had here, there's more than one trick that you can do with it, and because that first one failed so miserably, you guys have just got to give me a quick moment here to quickly redeem myself with this thing, okay?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I've been doing most of my tricks with Uno cards recently, but I just happen to have, thank the good Lord, this deck of cards on me here, which as you can see is all different, correct? It's a regular deck of playing cards, okay? Now, one thing that I should mention is the fact that when I've mentioned this several times when I've been doing these before, it's kind of hard to do card tricks the traditional way when you're doing Skype, because how do you go pick a card, any card? I mean, you really can't pick one, right? Okay, so we have to do it this way instead. You have to trust me that I'm not looking, okay? I'm going to go like this. Tell me when to stop.
Now.
Okay, thank you. And if I go like this, I can see this card, but I can't see this one. So I'm going to look this way.
Okay.
Can you see that card right there?
Okay, yes.
Okay, and I'm going to look this way so that the camera can see it as well. I'm still looking down. Not cheating here. Okay. Now, the credit card that we did the first trick with that didn't go so well, right? Can you see what is the name of the credit card brand on there? What is that?
Yes.
Looks
you
like
want me to say it?
Yeah, what is it?
MagiCard.
Yeah, MagiCard. But it looks like the MasterCard symbol, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Now, be honest with me here. If I turn that MasterCard symbol sideways, what number does that look like?
Well played, my friend.
What does it look
played.
like? What's
It
it look
looks
like?
like an 8.
And what does this look like the shape of right here in the silver spot here? I think it's kind of hard to see, but if you look hard, you can see that it is a diamond, I believe.
Oh, yes, I can see it.
Yep,
Yeah.
I can see it.
Was 8 of diamonds the card you picked by any chance?
Yes.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's a little lesson for everybody out there. Always have a fail-safe in place. There we are.
Impressive.
Alrighty. Well, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for being my guests here today. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk to you about, but I always enjoy your concerts, and I highly recommend them. I wish you guys came. Next time you guys are back in Massachusetts, please let me know. The last time you were here, I only had a chance to stop by and say hello. I was just so busy, I didn't have a chance. I was actually parked on the wrong side of the street, and you guys had to come out and talk to me because parking was so bad at the church. So, anyway, you guys doing okay with everything? I'm guessing that you had to cancel some concerts because of what's going on.
Yeah, 6 so
yes,
far.
That's right. And we have not been able to make any bookings for the future either, because every church is shut down. Every community center, they're all
Nobody's
shut down.
answering calls.
Yeah.
So right now, we have been completely unable to book any new concerts.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'll definitely keep you in my prayers for that. Because I'm a one-man
appreciate
show.
that.
Because I'm a one-man show, I can start pitching people to do shows on Skype like I'm doing with you right now, or on Zoom, for example. And I've had some luck with that. I'm actually doing a Zoom camp party tomorrow. There was this camp that was supposed to have a whole bunch of events this week, and they had to cancel, obviously, because of everything that happened. But they were looking for people who did virtual entertainment, and they found me. So it's the 4th virtual show I've done since this whole thing started. Hopefully it will not be the last either. Also, you guys know I do singing telegrams. I have a new name for them. They're called social distancing telegrams. I'm doing one tomorrow. Because see, believe it or not, a lot of people don't realize this. But of all the entertainment things, singing telegrams, as long as you don't come into contact with the person, are actually pretty safe. You're usually wearing a mask and gloves. You know what I mean? It's almost kind of like singing telegrams were meant for social distancing settings. And basically, all of the ones that I've done 3 since the pandemic hit, and I'm doing another one tomorrow. All of the ones that have been done have all been ring the doorbell and then back up 8 to 10 feet and sing as loud as you can to the person in the doorway. And so that's basically how my business has been affected. But unfortunately, I mean, just with the way the economy is because of this, people are not hiring entertainment as much as they used to. I think they're all kind of hunkering down for what we hope is going to be no more than 2 months. And even then, it will take some time to get going again. But anyway, I want to thank you guys again for joining for joining me here. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time here on the Great Scott page for the Virtual Volunteer. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Gabe.
Hey, thanks so much for having us on your show. You're my favorite magician.
Oh, thanks.